Hi, my name is Robin B,
Okay.
and we're coming from the chatter. Thank you so much for joining us again. Of course, we give advice, but this is for entertainment purposes only. And how you guys doing out there?
Our opinions only.
Anyway, today we're going to discuss people manipulations.
hmm
And people could definitely manipulate you, whether it's your workplace, your family members,
hmm
your significant other, or it don't even have to be your significant other, people you just meet in the street, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it might be. And also, did I miss anything? Yeah.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah, anybody. Okay, yeah, let's just make
Anybody.
it anybody. People
hmm
manipulations.
hmm
And a lot of people want to manipulate you in this world, and you might not even be aware of it, believe it or not. We're here with they oh my God. People try to
It's
bombard you
hmm
with their what's the word? Their attitudes, their whatever they feel that you
hmm
should accept. If
yes.
they feel that they're in a bad mood, you should accept that. If
hmm
they feel that they're in a good mood, you got to be in a good mood.
hmm
That's part of manipulation as well. You have to put a stand and say, this is where I want to be. You
hmm
might be reading a book and somebody calls you, it could be a family member, whoever it is, and screaming and howling, which gets you out of that mood. You need to learn how to control your own destiny as far as
hmm
your own mind, your own
Yeah.
heart, your own self-being, because that's what it all comes down to, how you feel.
Yep.
It's
How
not
you
about
protect
how
your peace.
exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Peace. Your
hmm
mind peace, your heart peace, your anything peace. If you want to be in that kind of attitude, okay, you could call somebody else too and manipulate them. But what I'm saying is don't let anybody disturb your peace.
hmm
And little tidbits that you could say, somebody calls you in an attitude or screaming, it could be fake because it happened to me from my sister. And you
hmm
could say, I need time to think, slow down.
hmm
You could hang up the phone, but if you don't want to be rude, I need time to think. Slow. Like,
hmm
we used to say, slow your roll, hey, what's up? But you don't
Yeah.
even have to say what's up anymore. You could just say, I need time to think about whatever situation you bring into me right now.
hmm
If you're even involved in that situation, because half the time you're not even involved in that situation.
That is true spoken right there.
you know? It's just something that's on their mind or something they want to vent towards you that's messed up your inner space.
Mm.
And you need to keep accountable of your own space. That's the whole idea. Because people could make you angry. I used to be like that, believe me.
Mm. Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
get triggered very, very fast. I'm an Aries, so I mean things like that used to happen, I could get triggered. But then I learned I'm only upsetting my own peace.
Self. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they are invading on my space. And I need to keep my space open so I can reap the good things that should be coming in my life. Not nobody screaming and howling and messing up my own space. You
hmm
know, you can say, I hear you, I hear what you're saying, but let me think this over for a minute. Let me absorb what you're saying first before I respond.
Let me take a deep breath and decide how I want to respond, if I want to respond.
Exactly. And that's because sometimes you just like blurt, and then sometimes you're sorry for what you said. Sometimes you're just blurting out of anger, and you really, and you're it's taken away from you,
Yeah. But there are all types
yourself.
of ways they can manipulate you.
And that's the manipulation because some people drive off of drama, and I know a couple of them.
hmm
And they drive off of drama. If you say, I used to have a friend that she would ask me questions. Oh, what do you think about this, that, and the other? And if I don't give her the right, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You ask me. And
Yeah.
then in that response, I will respond back to her in a negative way and say the same thing I just said. You asked me the question. I don't have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
You asked
I,
me something, you know what? So, F you or whatever it is, and then I'm coming to a big old thing. And that's not it wasn't my problem from the beginning.
yeah.
And people
Yeah.
thrive off of drama. They like
hmm
they like that interaction. They like that.
Chaos.
Yeah. That's the word. They like that chaos. Exactly. And you're not even thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
But they thrive off of that. If everything is quiet, they want some kind of,
Drama,
response. Yeah.
stress,
They
whatever.
want some
They
kind of
have to
chaos.
stir the pot up.
Right. Because they thrive off of that. They like that. If everything, I like being quiet, actually,
Mm.
If
Yeah,
I'm not quiet, then I like going out or doing whatever I have to do. But I'm not gonna call you up, Kay, and start something just because I'm bored.
yeah,
It's basically
yeah.
that's where it comes from, that chaos, being bored, whatever. Do
Wait,
something
I did get a
productive.
phone call like that one time, though. My
I
friend
get it a
called me
lot.
and said, I'm bored. I just called to stir something up.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, at least he was honest about it, but still.
Yeah, but people do it all the time.
It's so the manipulation that I've experienced has gotten so chaotic and out of control that I have to remind myself, the expression, don't believe your lying eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to believe my lying eyes, what I just witnessed, kind of thing. Um,
I know. Some of it is unbelievable, the way they flip on you.
yeah, but there's other types of manipulation that is subconscious and we don't catch it until the last minute. I went to a presentation and it was to become, this is years ago, it was to become an air traffic controller. And they showed the video. They told us what the test would be like. They
Mm.
assured us they would train us, what have you. And everything is going fine. And the man said, now, if you'll just come up here with your checkbook and give us a deposit, we'll get started. And people like sheep started getting up and going up front. I mean, they were arguing with each other to get up there first. And something made me raise my hand, and they're like, yes. I said, who are you? And you could have heard a pin drop. And he's like, what do you mean, who are we? We're such and such company, and we train people to become air traffic controllers. And I'm like, but you're asking me to give you $500 and I know nothing about your company except what was in the newspaper. So I got up and left. And a couple of people, it broke the spell and they went out with me. But it is so easy
To
when you're
be
looking for
manipulated.
something to just walk right into whatever it is they want you to walk into. And it just blew my mind. Thank you,
And that's
Lord, that
part of
you,
marketing as well,
yes,
you know,
thank you, Lord,
because
that
they
you
get
put
you
that
all
block in
hyped
my
up
head.
about something until
Yeah.
you read the fine lines. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I've known people who they get all hyped up about, oh yeah, yeah, this is great, this is great. But you know what? Everything that looks great is not always good.
That's
No,
it.
and
Everything that
first of all, I
glitters.
would think $500 to become, a air
Air
traffic
traffic
controller.
controller,
That's
you
kind of
know.
cheap. I think you got to go to school and do this and do that, do this.
But that was their hustle. All they did was we'll put the ad, we'll take a room at the airport, we'll bring people in, and we will get their down payments. That's all they wanted was a down payment. I don't know if the class even existed.
Probably not.
Yeah,
You
but
know, that's
that's
part of fraud again. But that's
yeah,
the old time fraud.
yeah,
We
yeah.
talked about fraud. Now you got the AI fraud that you just go in. Oh yeah, we're gonna, this stock is gonna be great. I see it all the time pop up on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this week this stock is gonna be this, that, and the other. All you have to do is put $1,000 down, and we're gonna give you
Mm-hmm.
uh 1,000 shares for $10. And I own some stock, and I go into my regular stock, and I'm like, that
That
doesn't make
doesn't add
sense.
up.
It doesn't add up. No.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm gonna give you $1,000 to buy $10 worth of stock, what are you gonna do any different than the stock market is the stock market?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not
Yeah,
gonna change. So
yeah.
how could you manipulate the stock market by yourself if I give you the people are like so
Is
anxious.
at the prospect of getting rich.
Right.
It's
That's what it's
yeah,
all about, is the
yeah.
prospect of getting rich. And
Mm-hmm.
that goes into also as the prospect of, we were talking about earlier too, as meeting somebody, people desperate to be with a partner,
Yeah,
perfect thing
yeah,
too as well,
yeah.
love. But we talked about seeing things on TV that are so what's the word I'm looking for? So outrageous. They're not
Mm-hmm.
real. It's not
Mm-hmm.
real.
Yeah.
And people get into depression because they feel their relationship should be the same. So they
Yeah.
fall into the manipulation of other people telling them things.
Yeah.
At some of the lines, oh, you're not like any other girl. A
Mm-hmm.
couple of
Yeah,
meetings.
your first date, and that's what he says to you. That should be a flag, not a compliment. Mm.
Oh, you're not like any other girl I ever met. He don't even know you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
That's
I've known you all my life
and this is the second date.
because
Mm-hmm.
you have a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I can have a good conversation with somebody meeting in the doctor's office.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
want to be their friends for the rest of my life.
yeah. And the other one was, you understand me, you get me, and unlike my previous ones or what have you, it's manipulation. You might not think of it that way, but it is.
Nobody is like what you do
Mm.
in the first couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's just a super, but people are so anxious for things that really do not exist until they fall for anything. And that's how people with the fraud,
Mm-hmm.
talked about fraud and scams so many times, but I'm going to
Yeah.
bring it up again. That's how they manipulate people, as far as lonely people. They call them up and make a conversation, and that person's on the phone because they don't have nobody else to talk to.
Yeah.
So they hold this whole conversation because that's the person that's calling them and giving them that type of attention.
Yeah.
As long as you're getting attention, that's who falls for these things.
Yeah. And it,
Talking
it
about
is
the
it
airport thing.
it
Who
it
wants to
is
be
manipulation.
a air traffic controller?
Mm.
I guess people who are looking for excitement. So that's automatically manifested in their mind. Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. So they work off of those things. But
Mm.
people like you, who's like,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't give a, but I
No, it
but
was
I become an air traffic controller
it,
right
honey,
now.
it
I'm
was
not giving up
God that entered.
$500 like that.
It was God who put that question in my mind, because it was like, why is my hand raised? But there are all types of manipulations that there seems to be a lot more nowadays. A whole
Well,
lot
there's a
more
lot more
nowadays.
loneliness now. I mean, I
Yeah.
think COVID had a lot to do with that because people became isolated, and that is still trickling over, although it's 2026 right now.
Hmm.
That is still trickling into the mindsets of people working at home, being alone. I refuse to work at home anymore because,
Hmm.
not that I'm looking for a job, but I already
Hmm.
decided I need to get out, because people are being isolated in the homes. People are not meeting the people that they used to or talking. They go out, but
Hmm.
before, after work, oh, let's go out after work, or let's do this, or oh, yeah, I got a party coming up, or, there's an event coming up. You want to, you want some tickets, that type of interaction doesn't really happen anymore. So people are being more isolated and being more manipulated by the media,
Stuff. Yeah.
the phone that you see
Hmm.
all this stuff on, the social media that you read up on, and they're easily manipulated by meeting people online. We did a show about that, being you're not really seeing the substance of their person, only the physical looks of that person, and you're being manipulated by that. If somebody just says to you, oh, you are so different. You are this, that, and the other. You are that.
Hmm.
You're automatically uh intrigued by somebody telling you how you look, or oh, you are beautiful, because you're not used to hearing that because you're not going out as often, or you're only hearing it from certain people, so
Hmm.
you're manipulated and you fall for the okey doke, is what we used to call it.
Yes, now.
You're falling for
Mm.
the okey doke,
Hmm.
you know
But honestly, manipulation has been around for a long
oh
time.
yes.
The things that they advertise, the commercials, they've advertised stuff on TV, and you think, maybe I need that, Whereas 30 seconds earlier, it wasn't even on your radar.
That's exactly.
Yeah, so there are all kinds of tricks of the trade,
Yeah,
and
well,
just be wary of what you keep your focus on.
especially when it comes to other people. that are
Mhm.
manipulating you as far as your money is concerned.
Mhm.
And that's a big thing now. These companies are doing that. I'm not talking about things for yourself that you just arbitrarily buy, the new mascara, but I'm talking about as far as people actually manipulating as far as trying to get your money, like you said, the $500.
Mhm.
You know,
The
people who
middleman.
the people who want to get in your pockets, meeting somebody of the other,
Mhm.
meeting somebody, I'm talking about a significant other, your boyfriend, girlfriend, not that far, but dating, and they
Mhm.
want to get into what you have, or those types of things, because people, can get into your ear. When they get
Yeah.
into your ear, forget about it. They can tell you anything and everything you want to hear. And because you are lonely, because you are by yourself, because you don't hear that often, because you are isolated,
You can fall for it.
very, very easily. If you're
Mhm.
not isolated and you're going out there and you're seeing other people and you're meeting other people, it's not so easy to do that to you. But now people are refraining because of what this world is going through. They're not doing the things they used to do.
Yeah. But in the
And it
meantime,
makes you more vulnerable.
the games keep playing, you
And the
know.
games are increasing,
Mhm.
not just that job anymore.
Yeah.
Not just that one person and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Because I've just been this, that, and the other, or whatever.
Mhm.
And you already know the game. So
Yep. Yep.
you're not,
And the other manipulation that you don't fall for is if you're having problems at work and they're trying to get you to quit, do not let them manipulate you into quitting. Make sure that if they have a problem with you, that they fire you. So there's that paper trail of why you no longer have that job. If you quit, you get nothing. If they fire you, you're entitled to some compensation. And that's the
well,
ultimate okey doke manipulation move that's seems to be happening a lot today, you know?
yeah, it does seem, and you know what? That's a good point because you do have a paper trail. Because if
Hmm.
you quit, they won't know whether you were,
Hmm.
abused. But if they
Yeah,
fire you, they have to have an explanation of why.
yeah, yeah,
And that will protect you on getting your next job. As well.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's a
There's
good
so
point,
many things,
Karen.
but I say believe your eyes, they're not lying. Believe your ears. You know, you're hearing what's actually going on, and just
Believe
know
your
that
heart
they're
and your
trying to
mind,
manipulate me, you
and go
know?
by your intuition as well.
Hmm.
Your first reaction is normally the best
The
reaction,
best one,
and that
the
means
actual
walk
one.
away.
Yeah,
Anyway, thank you. Another tidbit from
the
the
chatter.
chatter. Thank you for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe. We welcome your comments, of course. We want more subjects to talk about, to express to other people, and get comments on that too. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye.